Hey, what is going on YouTube? Aaron here. We are back in the Darren. We are solo and we have a very important educational video for you guys today. Today we are going to teach you how to not be a useless destroyer player and the habits of destroyer players. So if you're a cruiser player or a battleship player or even a carrier player, you know what other destroyer players or destroyer players should be doing. Now, we are on the new map riposte here, which is a little bit unique, but the first thing you should do in a destroyer is check the enemy lineup, which is what I'm doing. On the screen here, we have two radars, the Kronstadt and the Alaska, so that is something to be careful of, as well as two enemy Shimikazes. So you should kind of have a general knowledge of radars and concealment in this game. You don't have to know it down to the detail, but you should know that IJN Japanese destroyers have very good concealment. You should know that Americans have pretty good radar, but it's only 9 kilometers. The Russian have a longer radar of 11.7 kilometers, which is on the Kronstadt, but it has a shorter duration. Now, I want to take a moment here and pause and look at the mini-map. Now, I want you guys to tell me what you see here. I see a team that spawned with a bunch of battleships, a few cruisers, and 2 destroyers. One of which is me at the center spawn here, the other destroyer is at sea. What should be the last thing that I do from this position? If you answered go around the entire enemy flank and torp them from behind, then yes, you are correct. But you are also correct if you said go to sea. I should never, ever, and no destroyer player should ever double up destroyers in this situation, or ever, really, unless you spawn with a game with 4 or 5 destroyers. You remove spots, you remove the ability to get the caps, and you're just clumping up. If you are near more than 2 teammates, get away from them. And you will see me do this on stream. I'll say, get away from me. Anytime you clump up, you are removing angles, position, and really the ability to win the game. So, we have decided to play the A-B side here. Riposte is one of those maps where it's very difficult to get B right off the cap, especially with 2 radar cruisers who can get very close to those islands. So, I decided to play the A-B side. My twist and track initially told me that the closest ship was B, but you can see it very quickly switched to A there. That little half circle is the twist and track and perceptive perk. It is very useful on destroyers, especially gunboats, especially the Daring. Now, we threw some zoning torps in there. We're not really guessing to hit anything or predicting, but there's not a better feeling than when you hit those zoning torps. We're just throwing them where we think enemy destroyers might be. Unfortunately, our twist and track switched to the A cap here, and which is confirmed that there is a destroyer in there as it is starting to tick. So we mark where we think the destroyer is going to be for our team, and we also look around for a little bit of help. We do not want to charge blindly in here. We do not know where those cruisers are, but we do want to contest this cap and make sure the Shima does not get it for free. So we made our way into the cap. We popped our sonar a little bit preemptively to prepare for zoning torps from the Shima in case he threw his own. We also pinged our friendly radar cruiser while turning this way. This position here allows us to escape if we need to. It also allows us to get all guns on target. The friendly radar cruiser pops his radar. This was before the recent buff to radar, so we can't see that he popped it there. But we get a few shots on that Shima. The Shima is playing it smart, however. He is turning away. He was in the same position that we are in, so he is able to accelerate very quickly out of the cap. But we did get a reset and a few damage points and 1 incapacitation there. Anytime you can take a shot on a destroyer player, you should. And our team did a fairly fantastic job of doing so. You saw multiple shots headed towards that Shima as soon as he was spotted. So I have to give a huge shout out to our friendlies there. They played that very well. Our radar cruiser especially, Kronstadt, you played that great. Radaring the enemy destroyer. I also have to give a compliment to the enemy Shima. He played that fairly well, all things considered. He didn't really have that much support, and I'm a gunboat and he got radar, but because of his position, he was able to get out of there with minimal damage. So in the Shima's case, on the enemy team, sometimes, games are not going to go your way, but playing by the core principles and not being a useless, selfish player is going to net you much better results. Our team on the other side, speaking of doing their job, our friendly Montana, killed the enemy Kronstadt, so that is 1 radar cruiser, a very dangerous radar threat, off the board. If you are a battleship main and you do not target radar cruisers when you have the opportunity, you have no room to talk about anything, HE spam, destroyers, anything, because you are being useless. I'm going to do a whole series on being useless, so if somebody sends you this video or, send it to somebody that you think is maybe not playing the correct way. Now, I will say that, it's a free-to-play game. You're allowed to play however you want, but That being said, I win, and I win often, and I win with high scores, which this one is. So I have a general knowledge of how to better your experience of World of Warships Legends. You can listen, you can not, but there it is. Here we have this Kurfürst here, which is now our closest. That Shima, could be going out to the flank, but as we just mentioned, that would be a rather useless play, for his team. So if he wants to go out there, he may kill one or two of our battleships. But we have this Kurfürst here, and that Kurfürst is a little bit of a dangerous threat. He does have his 6-kilometer hydro, so if he pushes us here, we want to be able to get out of that. In the meantime, though, we had the other enemy Shima pop up here. He captured C, and he wants to get Bravo. He was shooting at me for some reason, not sure why he was detected. And we actually make a little dangerous play here, but you can see with our torpedoes that Kurfürst is not pushing us. If the Kurfürst were to push us, we would have turned hard right here and gotten out of there. Again, this is a risky play. There's a Yamato, there's a Kurfürst, and there's an enemy Shima. A lot of people underestimate the guns of the Shima, and they can hurt really bad, but they do have a longer reload. So we make the decision to charge the Shima, get inside of his concealment, and this is why you do not want to be trapped in the B spawn here on the post. The Shima looks like he is smoked down, and he is never ever going to win this gunfight. Now we are taking a lot of damage here, but the Daring does have a heal. We do have our smoke coming back, and that is one enemy Shima off the board. If this Kurfürst would have pushed, we probably would have turned hard right at that previous rock or channel and gotten out of there. Probably not killing the Shima, but you are more valuable to your team alive than you are dead. I don't know what people don't understand about that. They think it's all about being aggressive and being a man. But as a result of our efforts, we now have an enemy Shima off the board, and we are able to capture the B cap here. We do want to be cautious of that Kurfürst Hydro, and anytime you can take some free shots here on the Yamato or any battleships, you should. The Daring is basically a little light cruiser, with its heal and rapid fire reload. Our team is doing their job, though. The battleships at sea are playing defensive. They don't want to be too aggressive, and our team actually just finished off in Alsace there, so we are up on ships, tied on caps. But as one of the other ships down is a destroyer, we are able to roam free and get into the B cap here. We are weak on the A side, though, however, and you can see that one of the, I believe it was the Kurfürst or another ship, is working its way back into Alpha, so we do want to defend that as best we can. So we're going to get into a defensive position here, but you'll notice that our twist and track popped closer, so we are going to ping that for our friendlies. What does that tell us? Our twist and track is closer than the closest spotted ship. That tells us that there is a destroyer. Now, I set these torpedoes up here. I had a double purpose for them. I wanted to double up on the Pommern and potentially throw them towards my twist and track. We pop our smoke here, and if I'm being honest, I probably should have popped my hydro a little bit sooner than I did. But, hindsight is always 20/20, and that is why I don't like watching my own replays. But we get the defend on the Kurfürst there, and now we pop our hydro and pop that second set of torpedoes. I'm more so trying to land them on the battleship, and if we get lucky, then we get lucky on the destroyer that is in the cap. The reason that we know there is something closer, as you can see, the Pommern is at 10.2, and that Kurfürst was at 10 kilometers, if you rewind it there. So that is how you know another ship is closer. If there is a further ship spotted, you can tell that there is either a destroyer or a ship in front of that. And you can see it move to the left there, despite there being other ships, such as the Pommern, closest spotted. In the meantime, though, we actually got the cap, and there is that Shima while getting a torp on that Pommern and a few defend ribbons there. So we take a shot here, and again, a risky shot, but those battleships are distracted. And our team has kind of cleaned up the game. In the short, time frame from like the 10-minute mark to now, our team has done a fantastic job as I almost overturned into a Shima torp, but that is why we popped our sonar, or hydro as it's called on PC, so we have an advanced warning. I see players pop their consumables at the beginning of the game, and it's just befuddling to me. I hope you guys have learned something. If you have questions about any of this or strategy or different things, let me know in the comments down below. I'll try to answer them. My goal is to better the game here. We do not have a very high damage total as we get detected by this enemy Shima. He out-conceals us. We have our hydro on, though, so we're not too worried, and we're just going to go right at him. We have the HE loaded here, and as soon as he gives us enough angle, we're going to go and switch to the AP. Anytime you can use AP on the Daring, and there it is, you should do so. We take his engine out, and then we actually get a beautiful few salvos here. 2 salvos, and he is dead, dev struck by guns. I'm not sure that really qualifies as a dev strike, but anyway, we go ahead and pop our smoke here. It was honestly a waste. We do have that island to protect us, but we're also not really sure of the other ships and where they were. Sometimes I will lose track of them, but trying to keep a mental note of where ships are, where they were, is always, an advantage to you. But that is both Shima's dead, 2 solo caps, 6 defends, and 1 enemy ship remaining. This is a little bit of a wash. We know that games at Legendary tier can be, but if you play by these principles, even on a loss, you will do much better. You will net better results. You will win more games. You will get, better credit earnings, all of the above. And that's really the video. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I tried not to sound too much like an elitist, but I just see so many destroyer players being absolutely useless and so many people complaining about it. And then so many people, when I make a video, it's like, well, you don't do enough to teach the community, even though I've made this video probably 18 different times. So, like I said, if you need, you see a destroyer player that needs this video, then go ahead and send it to them. Also, if you're a cruiser player, now you know the habits and what most other destroyer players should be doing. If you're a battleship player, the same. So it goes, it helps to play all classes and understand all classes. But that is a 33-33 score there, first on the leaderboard with only 72,000 damage. So not a lot of damage, but we got 2 kills on destroyers, 2 solo caps there, and just a fantastic overall score and impact on the game. If again, XP matters so much more than damage. Damage is essentially irrelevant in a destroyer. You should try to match your damage, your HP pool. So try to score, 20, 40,000 in a destroyer. If you do that, you're doing your job, as I'm playing around with the boosters here. But again, I hope you guys learned something. I hope you guys found that informative. There's our build, Reggie Turwit there. But yeah, that's the video, guys. Let me know if you learned something. Let me know if you have any questions. Hey, Aaron out. Peace.